My Media Prime Television, with me, Audrey Zatsa. Some shop owners in Carrefour Ndokoti, Douala 3 subdivision are still in confusion after the discovery of their shops totally burnt or totally emptied by some unknown men in the economic capital. Nsah tells us exactly what happened.
We are at 3 Boutique Carrefour Ndokoti in Douala, where the incident took place. Burglary or a planned act, no one has claimed responsibility to the incident yet. These shop owners were shocked to the core after finding out that their business places were ramshackled, destroyed, and emptied by unknown persons who carried out the act late at night. The majority of the shops invaded were containers adapted to the format of a modern-day store. Their owners were perplexed at their findings. I left my home to dash off to work. I had just stocked my shop yesterday. I restocked to sell today, but when I arrived here, everything was completely empty, clean, and the shop destroyed. However, this testimony from an eyewitness gives a little clarity to what might have occurred at 3 Boutique Ndokoti, Douala. I was returning from work yesterday around 1 p.m. because I pick up used plastic bottles. That was when I saw a lorry, a police car, and 4 pickups parked around here. They used 2 chains to seal the area. They chased us because we usually move in groups at night. It's the same guys who carried out this act. No one gets in here and collect things. They are the ones who did it. Another victim, a widow called Nadej Ngwebu, threw more light to what the witness said, insinuating that a powerful man is behind the operation. I am a widow. I have 4 kids. My husband died 3 years ago. So it's important to state that I have no one who can defend me. And it is a church that helped me set up this business here at this Carrefour. So it is because this man has money and power. That is the Cameroon which we are living in. That is the heritage which our president left for us. When you have money, you can walk and crush on those on your way. It is fair to say that the brain behind the incident is confusing and no conclusions can be drawn here, but a serious investigation has been opened to track down the perpetrators of this pathetic act.
The Southwest-Northwest Women Task Force today, October 22, mourned the gruesome death of Carol-Louise Enondiale, who was killed by a gendarme officer in Boyer. The Southwest-Northwest Women Task Force has condemned the excessive killings and maiming of persons in the 2 English-speaking regions, as well as wartime violence on women and children. While advocating for an end to the gross human rights violation, these women pleaded for more protection for women and children, insisting on the need for all warring parties to get to the dialogue table to minimize civilian casualties. The first ever upcoming Bamenda 3 Council Festival will run from November 6 to 28. In a press briefing with journalists October 21, 2021 to install committee members and launch the festival, the mayor of the Bamenda 3 Council, Fongu Kletus, expressed the desire of the council to optimize cultural values. Details with Charles Kebwa.
The Bamenda 3 Council, in a press briefing with journalists October 21, 2021 at the council chambers to launch the first ever upcoming festival dubbed Festival of Heritage and Culture, to bring all together under the theme Reconnecting to Our Roots, Reviving Culture and Enhancing Peaceful Coexistence and Socio-Economic Empowerment of Bamenda 3 Municipality through question and answers.
Be you from any other culture in any other region or any division of the region, you are free to register and participate in the cultural festival, because the cultural festival is for the resident of all the people of Bamenda 3 municipality.
Mayor Fongo Kletos of the Bamenda 3 Council said the past 4 years, people of his municipality and the region's mind have been shifted towards crisis. The upcoming cultural week to run from November 6th through 28th with the ongoing crisis, the people of Bamenda 3 municipality will feel another aspect of life, which is not related to crisis but reviving cultural values for the socio-economic empowerment of Bamenda 3.
There is nobody that does not have a culture. Everybody on earth have a culture, and every single individual, you value your culture, and anything that concerns culture attract hundreds and thousands of people. And if these people are present, it will be the best medium for us to valorize the culture and then make people think differently.
Committee members to ensure effective organization of the first ever cultural festival organized by the Bamenda 3 Council were presented and installed during the briefing. To the Divisional Delegate of Arts and Culture, Nsah, the zeal and everyone bracing up for the success of the festival, her ministry has been there all along giving technical assistance.
All along we have been there for technical assistance towards the realization of this project, and in the days ahead we hope that financial assistance will be accorded for a continuous happening of this activity.
As the culture of Nkwen and Nsah and its people will be valorized and promoted systematically, the Bamenda 3 Council has decided to make the event annually. Registration to kickstart this year's event is free. Bamenda 3 Council looks forward optimizing the cultural values and putting more flesh on cultural heritage.
In education, as the 2021-2022 academic year begins, close to 400 students have been welcomed and are currently being orientated at the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIPMAT, Boya. Shortly after that of Douala, the students have been encouraged to stay focused for an effective learning experience. Dolly Ngonde attended the event. Her report.
This is the official resumption at the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIPMAT Boya, where close to 400 new Year 1 students are currently being drilled in an orientation and career/course exercise. As an institution strongly built on Christian and moral values, the event begins with the holding of a holy mass officiated by the Reverend Father James, inviting the students to be more focused on God while nullifying all evil forces. Meanwhile, during his opening address to the students, the president of HIPMAT, Mr. Chilaka Jude, promises them a wonderful stay with the best of academic and management staff to cater for their needs till they leave the institution, as he further adds.
Studious, hardworking, and of course stay away from any form of distraction. Moliko is a beautiful place. Our institution, being in the heart of Moliko, is equally there with an objective and of course a mission to train and to empower young professional accountants, bankers, managers, and engineers. The students, as a matter of fact, are in a beautiful place and of course a beautiful town.
In his capacity as rector of the prestigious University Institute, Professor Ibrahim Kashim Tala also delivered a talk on self-realization and actualization for success to the students.
You can improve and you can excel.
Punctuated by a blend of musical genres from the school's choir, the students for over an hour have also approved of their readiness to stay focused on their chosen career paths in a competitive academic and business world as today's. After an interlude of networking, the students were further orientated into their various departments with the assistance of their respective heads of departments, after which their admission letters and individual timetables were distributed to them for effective learning to begin immediately.
On our feature page, Cameroonians over the years have constantly been in a silent war with technicians due to untimely delivery of their commands. Most of these technicians collect customers' orders and fail to deliver them on the time agreed upon. Joy Ngong spoke with some of the clients or some clients and technicians. Her report.
From time immemorial, technicians have proven to be indispensable in our day-to-day activities. However, on a scale of 10, at least one person confessed to have been disappointed in one way or the other by these technicians, be it radio repairers, fridges, televisions, carpenters, or even tailors, who do not keep to appointments and sometimes tamper with equipment.
So I think it's a syndrome that it's like a virus found in every technician's bloodstream in Cameroon, and it has brought me to the conclusion that it's an African thing. Personally, I've had so many instances where I've been disappointed greatly by technicians. Either I give a gadget for repairs and he renders it unrepairable. I've had such instances, laptops, and you name a few.
I gave my furniture to a carpenter. The day he asked me to come and collect it, he did not deliver it on time. He delivered the furniture 6 months after the command. What he did was not even what I asked him to do. I already have a bad image of all carpenters. Not just one. Many technicians especially tell us,
tu déposes le tissu, elle te dit viens dans une semaine. Quand tu viens dans une semaine, ce n'est pas.
You give them your fabric and in 1 week it's not yet completed. You have to go there over and over and shout. At the end of the day, the work you gave is not even done, but you just take as you need to dress up well in front of people.
Most customers who have been victims of such instances blame it on the dishonesty of the technicians, and the only way out is to play the game. When you need a service, it is preferable to place your order but not give money at the beginning so that you don't put yourself under pressure. Or you give days before, because when they are under pressure, the work is not done well and the technicians will do it as they like. So don't give money and don't put them under pressure.
Personally, I've devised a new method. Now, if I have to use a dress, say on Sunday, I'll tell the tailor that I'm using it on, say, Thursday, because I know that he's not going to be ready. So when I get there on Thursday, whatever he has done, I could take Friday, Saturday, make it up. So the real D-Day, which is Sunday, the dress will be ready. I think if Cameroonians take it that way, I see some people dragging technicians to court, to the police station. I don't think that is the solution, because going to the police station, going to court, you're always going to waste your time and resources that you'd have used for something more important.
Notwithstanding, technicians on their part have their own story to tell.
When a client is coming, he doesn't expect to see another client at the garage. In his head, he is alone and must be attended to. He forgets that there were other clients before him who are equally waiting for our services. But the client does not want to wait, and that's the problem.
This feud between customers on the one hand and technicians on the other hand has been existing for decades. With the end of year festive period fast approaching, Cameroonians are of the opinion that both parties should get into an agreement to save themselves from trouble.
So what's making news in the African continent? Nora Kakebi reports, beginning in Egypt.
In touring the African continent, we begin in Egypt, where nearly 100 women were sworn in as first female judges to Egypt's State Council. The women were sworn in before the council's chief judge, Mohammed Hossam El-Din, in a celebratory event in Cairo. The swearing-in came months after President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi asked for women to join the State Council on Public Prosecution, the two judicial bodies that until recently were exclusively male. The female judges were welcomed by Hossam El-Din, saying they are an important addition to the State Council. The council had repeatedly rejected women applicants. In recent years, many women challenged council decisions, arguing that they were discriminated against. And in South Africa, former President Jacob Zuma has laid charges against the chief state prosecutor in his corruption trial. Zuma has opened a criminal case against advocate Billy Downer for allegedly leaking his current state of health to the media. His spokesman said there is a whole act level of file of evidence he brought to the police station to show that what he's talking about is not a cooked-up story. Zuma has submitted all the evidence to the police for subsequent investigation. According to the spokesman, Zuma takes the strongest possible exception to what was done with his confidential information and the way it was treated in the court. Still in South Africa, COVID-19 vaccinations will be administered to adolescents between the ages of 12 and 17 years, with the goal of getting at least 6 million people vaccinated from this age. The country is determined to increase its rate of vaccination, which is running behind the target of 300,000 daily shots. South Africa is currently administering 185,000 doses per day. Although adolescents are less likely to suffer severe effects of the global health pandemic, health officials say it is quite important to get them vaccinated in order to keep schools open and prevent them from becoming a reservoir for the virus as the adult population are immunized. Meanwhile, in Mozambique, Mozambican writer Paulina Chizian has won the Camões Literary Prize 2021. The choice of the 66-year-old writer was made unanimously, according to the Portuguese Minister of Culture, Graça Fonseca. The winner, Paulina Chizian, says it is an award she shares with all Mozambicans. Chizian is the first African woman to win the Camões Prize.
And still out of the country, 10 regional powers have joined the Taliban's new regime in Afghanistan, calling on a United Nations donor conference to help save the country from economic ruin and humanitarian calamity. Let's have details with our reporter Bokengo Wari.
Since the Taliban attack in Kabul and Afghan takeover in mid-August 2021, attacks from Islamic State group militants against them have increased. The rise has raised the possibility of constant conflict between extremist groups to a risking level of taking people's lives through bomb blasts, attacks, shooting, and more.
Even a country that has tragically known generations of conflicts, Afghanistan is in the throes of yet another chaotic and desperate chapter, an incredible tragedy for its long-suffering people. Afghanistan is spinning out of control. In the last months alone, more than 1,000 people have been killed or injured from indiscriminate attacks against civilians, notably in Helmand, Kandahar, and Herat provinces. The fighting between the Taliban and Afghan security forces in urban environments is causing tremendous harm.
Since their rise to power, the Taliban, amidst fear and panic, especially for the women and girl child, have promised a new and better government than they exhibited in the 1990s.
When Osama bin Laden became an issue for the Americans, he was in Afghanistan. Although there was no proof he was involved, now we have given promises that Afghan soil won't be used against anyone.
It should be borne in mind that the headline rule in the 1990s hosted Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda movement, which carried out many appalling human rights violations, such as stoning, flogging, mass execution, amputation, and many more. However, the new Taliban rulers of Afghanistan on Wednesday won backings from 10 regional powers, including Russia, Uzbekistan, China, Pakistan, Tajikistan, India, Iran, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan, calling on the United Nations to convene a conference for better relationship with the regions and the world at large. To this regard, the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, has this to say.
The world is following events in Afghanistan with a heavy heart and deep disquiet about what lies ahead. All of us have seen the images in real time: chaos, unrest, uncertainty, and fear. Much lies in the balance: the progress, the hope, the dreams of a generation of young Afghan women and girls, boys and men. At this grave hour, I urge all parties, especially the Taliban, to exercise utmost restraint to protect lives and to ensure that humanitarian needs can be met. The international community must be united and utilize all available instruments to ensure the following. First, we must speak with one voice to uphold human rights in Afghanistan. I call upon the Taliban and all parties to respect and protect international humanitarian law and the rights and freedoms of all persons.
Worthy of note is the fact that the United Nations is still in talks with the Taliban for more security assurances regarding stability and human rights practices for Afghan citizens.
And that was it for today's edition of Prime News, and of course the last for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Stay glued for more programs on My Media Prime Television. Bye.